Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football. Welcome back to the channel. We've got your week one start and sit lineup for the running back position. Of course, this will always be full PPR, and of course, check out all our other start and sit videos to help you guys out with your week one. So let's jump right into it. All right, so week one of the NFL is here, and if you guys haven't already, check out my other start and sit videos. There's going to be links down below as well to help you get to those. And again, this is NFL week one. A lot of what I'm going to project is going to be based off of what happened in 2024, with, of course, some additions and different things like that what happened in the offseason. First game on the slate is going to be the Thursday night matchup between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. Really good matchup between NFC East rivals. And of course, it will be the Philadelphia Eagles dropping that banner right in front of their rivals of their Super Bowl win. So with that said, as far as the running back position goes, you're going to absolutely start Saquon Barkley. He was the second best running back in full PPR. And again, has the ability to continue that this year. He was probably most people's, first or second pick in most drafts this upcoming offseason. And when you flip things to the other side of the running back position, as you can see here, I don't like any of the running backs from the Dallas Cowboys side. One, committee is probably most likely going to happen. I'd like to see a little bit more. I know Brian Schottenheimer, the head coach for the Cowboys, is talking run. Until that is happening, and realistically, the Eagles probably being up, I don't trust Javonte Williams or Miles Sanders. Those are guys you want to probably maybe see later on. Give it a couple weeks before we go into that. Now, jumping into the Friday matchup, you've got the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Chargers. Now, Chargers are at home, but realistically, it's in Brazil. It is a YouTube-only ability to view it. So, again, make sure you guys are jumping on YouTube to watch that game on Friday. Really good matchup. Again, another nice, AFC West rivalry. Between these running backs here, I'm not super crazy about it. It's going to be a fun game. If you're going to play anybody, I do think Isiah Pacheco is worth at least a flex play, maybe an RB2. He'll obviously get goal line work. I don't trust Kareem Hunt this week. And when you're looking at the other side, I don't like the rookie Hampton this week. Nothing against him per se, but the Chargers struggled against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs allowed the fifth fewest points to the running back position. And of course, I'm not going to put Najee in there. He had a whole offseason essentially not playing due to a crazy injury. He is expected to play, but kind of ramped into it. So both running backs for the Chargers, I am not playing. Now, jumping into the Sunday early slate games, again, a lot of really good games in general, but the first kind of matchup I'm going to talk about is going to be the Arizona Cardinals versus the Saints. In this matchup, I love both James Conner and Alvin Kamara. You could even consider Trey Benson as a nice little option, but realistically, again, Benson's going to be more for flex in deep leagues. But both Alvin Kamara and Conner are absolute starts. Arizona allows the fourth most points to the running back position, so Kamara should eat. And of course, being that, Spencer Rattler's the quarterback, he might get some dump offs here and there. I do expect Kamara to have a really good week. So again, Conner and Kamara, I really like this week. Jumping into the Panthers and Jaguars game, this is probably one of my favorite, I guess you would say, fantasy matchups in general between them, whether it be the quarterback or running back or anything like that. Good matchups for both starting running backs. Chuba Hubbard start with confidence. Jaguars gave up 23 points per game to the running back position last season. And then I do like Travis Etienne in this one. He's more of an RB2, but I do like him. And you could even put Tank Bigsby in this flex if you really want to put both. I am interested in how Liam Cohen's going to do with both running backs, because like he did in Tampa with both Bucky Irving and Rachaad White, I can see both players having some, really good games. And the Panthers were dead last against the running back in fantasy. They allowed the most points, so I like both, again, Bigsby and Etienne this week. Now, another game I'm going to mention, staying kind of within that Panthers division, Bucs versus Falcons, a nice little rivalry there. For this one, it's an easy call. You're starting Bucky Irving. He's probably drafted pretty high in most leagues, probably second, third round. You're going to start Bijan Robinson, who was a top 5 pick in most fantasy drafts, right? Both of those guys you're going to start. Now, as far as deeper leagues, you may want to consider Tyler Algier or Rachaad White. Algier, the only reason he's going to have anything relevant is, he does get a few touches. He might get a touchdown depending on what happens. And Rashad White, a few couple receptions here or there. But realistically, both those guys are just handcuffs right now. They don't have a lot of value in this game. I would sit both of them, again, except for really deep leagues. You get the matchup between the Steelers and the Jets. A nice little, I guess, homecoming, if you will, with Aaron Rodgers going against his former team in the New York Jets. Ugly game for fantasy in general. I don't like any of the running backs in this one. You may want to start Jaylen Warren. I think maybe for him, again, low RB2 fringe, maybe a flex play. He's probably the only one worth any type of play. Jets defense and Steelers defense have been pretty good against the run. Steelers defense actually ranks the 6th best against running backs, so it's really tough. I don't trust Breece Hall this week, and I don't trust Braylon Allen. And both backs, again, being the first game of the week with all the offseason chatter, both of them could get equal usage. We'll see if one gets more than the other, which kind of gives us a game plan going forward. But right now, tough Steelers defense. Both running backs are uncertain. I would sit both Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. Browns, Bengals. Good game. It's not going to be a game I'm hoping. I think Bengals run away with this one. Chase Brown is obviously a must start, even though he did actually struggle against the Cleveland Browns last season. He only averaged 10 points per game. Cleveland Browns, again, people forget, are a really good defense, and I do think they'll have that same similar aspect. I think defensive-minded team. But again, Chase Brown, I would say high RB2. There's a possible chance he doesn't go completely RB1 this week, but he has a high RB2 stat line. You definitely want to start him. As far as the backs when it comes to Cleveland, I'm sitting Jerome Ford. I'm sitting Dylan Sampson. We still don't have any updates with Judkins right now. Like, none of those running backs I am going to put in this lineup. Don't trust them. So again, I'm going to sit them if I possibly can. Dolphins, Colts. Again, a game I'm not super crazy about. I do think Devon Achane is going to be a good start. I do have some tempered expectations. I know he was drafted high. I have him in a few leagues. I do have some high expectations for him this season. With that said, though, this week, being that he's coming off of an injury, they could ramp him up a little bit, which is why I put Ollie Gordon in here as well. He might be a nice little play in the flex option because he might get some opportunities and touches, because I don't know how much Achane is going to fully be thrown into this. He is starting. He is going to play, don't get me wrong, and he still might put up some RB1 numbers. I kind of lean him a little bit closer to the low RB1, high RB2. But I do like Ollie Gordon as well because, again, he's gotten the opportunity and he could get some touches here and there. Jonathan Taylor, he's definitely an auto start against the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins did fairly well. They're okay against the run. And again, we're trying to base this off of 2024, but I do think that Jonathan Taylor is going to be a good start because I do think the Colts are going to ease in Daniel Jones and his new Colts era. And I do think that coming off of last season, Jonathan Taylor did amazing. He had some really amazing games, and he's definitely going to be someone you're going to put in your lineup. Jumping to the Raiders-Patriots game, both rookies, Ashton Dente, Travion Anderson, you're going to start both of those guys. I think they're both going to have a really good game in this one. You could start Ramondre Stevenson, especially in flex deeper leagues, because I still think they're going to use him. I don't think they've just completely shut down the fact that they have Ramondre Stevenson. He was re-signed, obviously, before this coaching staff change happened, but I do think he's still worth some value, but you're absolutely going to start Ashton Dente and you're going to start Henderson. I think both those guys should be in anyone's lineup if you drafted them. And then the last early game, Giants versus Commanders. I am sitting Tyrone Tracy and Cam Scatterbo. I don't like this matchup at all against the Commanders. I don't like this matchup for Tracy or Scatterbo. And realistically, the Giants just got stuffed. I mean, the Commanders did a good job against the Giants last season in 2024. But I am going to definitely start Austin Eckler. Obviously, Brian Robinson Jr. is gone. Austin Eckler gets the start. I'm going to start him. He actually averaged 14 points against New York last season with that shared opportunity with Brian Robinson. I don't believe in Krosky Merritt right now. I'm going to sit him. I know everyone's high on him. I know everyone went after him. He's been like the hot name of the offseason. But I am actually tempering those expectations. If you watched any of my content, follow me on Twitter, whatever. I'm not the biggest fan of him yet. I have to see more. There's a reason why he was drafted later in the NFL draft. And there's also why he's been also later in their depth chart. But for me, Austin Eckler is a must start. Now, in the late games, you're talking the 4 o'clock beyond. The first game is going to be Titans versus the Broncos. For me, this is a tough one. I'm going to sit Tony Pollard this week. I do think the Broncos defense is just way too good. They were top 3 against running backs in fantasy last season. I know Pollard's obviously going to be, without Tajay Spears, going to get a lot more opportunities. So you may have to still play him just because maybe your running back room isn't very good in your lineups. Of course, hit me up in the comments and I could try to help you out. But for me, I'm going to try to sit Tony Pollard. Now, when you look at the Broncos side, Yeah, I think both RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins could both have a pretty good game. I don't have them any higher than RB2 or flex. I'm not going to say they have to be must starts, but if you're going to play a running back, one of these guys that are on your roster, J.K. Dobbins is ranked a little bit higher for me on my list, but I do think both RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins both have some value, so I would put them in your lineup if you can. Jumping into the 49ers Seahawks, and again, a nice little rivalry game there. No debate here. Christian McCaffrey, absolute must start. No question, without any hesitations, he's going to be in there. And you're also going to do the same thing with Kenneth Walker. I love Kenneth Walker against the 49ers. He was great last season, averaging 17 points per game. So a really good matchup for him. I am going to sit Zach Charbonnet because last season when Kenneth Walker did play against the 49ers, it was a Kenneth Walker game. Charbonnet just really had no relevancy. And I think Charbonnet really doesn't have any relevancy in general as long as Walker is healthy. I know you hear off season that was different. They're going to implement him more and blah, blah, blah. Look. That's coach speak. I do think they like Charbonnet, and he did really good filling in for Kenneth Walker. I still think Kenneth Walker is a better back, and I am going to absolutely start him. Lions, Packers. Look, this one's pretty safe. Start Jahmyr Gibbs. You're going to start Josh Jacobs. You're going to start David Montgomery. Jahmyr Gibbs obviously is amazing. Montgomery's a good safe RB2/flex. And then, of course, Josh Jacobs, 18 points a game against the Detroit Lions last season. I think people forgot about that. I know I've been seeing some crazy things about Josh Jacobs in this offseason from other analysts who aren't big and high on him. I know there was a lot of touchdowns that he was involved in, but they're definitely going to still use him. I know they're talking about, they're going to increase the pat. We'll see how that plays out. I think if the Packers want to win, they're going to use Josh Jacobs, and he's going to be a good start this week. And the last 4 o'clock game is going to be the Texans versus the Rams. Texas backfield, stay away. Absolutely stay away. I'm not putting Nick Chubb in there. I'm not putting Dameon Pierce. I'm not putting anybody. I am staying away from that group. Not worth the hassle. Now, as far as the Rams, you're going to start Kyren Williams. He probably was drafted in the 3rd or 4th round. He is their goal line hammer. He is their guy who's going to get touchdowns if they get close to the red zone. He doesn't have the value I wish you would in a normal PPR aspect, but I still think Kyren Williams is absolutely there. Definitely going to be starting. Now, Sunday night game, which is what a lot of people are looking forward to as well. That's going to be a really good game between the Ravens and the Bills. You're going to start Derrick Henry? Absolutely, without a doubt. Deeper leagues, you might want to start Keaton Mitchell. I think he's going to have some value. I think he's going to be introducing this offense a lot more, especially from being injured last year. I think his pass catching ability is going to be a big piece. Again, deep leagues, you're going to put Keaton Mitchell in there, but absolutely start Derrick Henry. I am going to sit James Cook this year. Last year against Baltimore, he only put up 5.9 fantasy points. I'm not a big fan of that. I do think Ray Davis also gets implemented in this, but I'm not going to start him. I think Ray Davis does get more opportunities, and James Cook was definitely a touchdown-dependent back last season, and for me, I just think that's not someone I'm going to put in my lineups this week. You're probably going to start him, and I get it. He's probably one of the running backs you drafted first, but I'm going to sit him if I can. And the last matchup I'm going to mention, obviously for week 1, is the Monday night game between the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. For this one, DeAndre Swift, hesitant, right? He only averaged 9 points against the Vikings. I'm going to put him in my sit category here. Risky play. Roshan Johnson, I'm also going to put in the sit category. He might actually be the one who scores and not Swift, and maybe Roshan puts like 11, 12 points. Maybe he's a flex, but for me, I'm going to sit both of those running backs for the Bears. As far as the Minnesota Vikings, you're absolutely starting Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is a must start. He averaged 19 points against the Chicago Bears last season. I do see that continuation, especially with J.J. McCarthy essentially getting his first real start this year. And for me, I think Aaron Jones is absolutely a must start. So that's my week 1 running back start and sit breakdown to help you guys out with the upcoming games. Hopefully you guys obviously have a successful week. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys are subscribed, hit that like button as well. Hit me up in the comments down below of maybe some lineup questions you guys may have, maybe even trade questions. I'm still getting a lot of those as well. Again, check out all my other start and sit videos. Again, subscribe, like, and I'll check you guys out next time.